Hi guys, hope you're well. I hope you've had another great week, and I hope you're all ready for 21.2. Okay, so obviously by now I'm sure you've all seen the workout, and you'll see with this workout, it's pretty different to last week. Okay, whereas last week was very much just focused on one area in terms of your shoulders. This week it's more of an assault on your full body. All right, your breathing, your heart rate, everything is going to get a good workout today. Okay, now obviously some of you will have done 17.1 before, all right, this ascending ladder. So in some ways that gives you a little bit of an advantage. You kind of know what to expect, but equally depending on when you got into CrossFit, then you may not have done. Okay, so obviously this workout, like I say, it's a much more kind of capacity-based workout, all right, in terms of how well you can maintain a good pace whilst doing high volume snatches and burpee box jump overs. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. First up, obviously, as those of you who've done it before will know, last time in particular, a lot of people, they felt a lot of discomfort over the next kind of even week or so in your lower back. All right, so it's important when you're warming up for this workout, that's an area that you focus on. Make sure that you're as mobile as possible through your lower back, your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves, because they are, especially as you get tired, going to take a little bit of a beating. Okay, so for your warm up, obviously, if you've got your normal mobility routine that you do, then do that. Okay, once you've done that, then I want you to work through 2 to 3 sets. Okay, you're going to go for 10 Jefferson curls. All right, that's really going to help you focus on mobilizing your lower back into 10 inchworms. Okay, so working on your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back all in one movement. All right, and then you're just going to grab a lightweight and you're just going to go for 5 split stance RDLs on each leg. Okay, again, that's just going to focus on that tension through your hamstrings, glutes, lower back. Make sure that they're nice and warm before you start this workout. Okay, you want to work through 2 to 3 sets of each of those. On the Jefferson curls and on the split stance RDLs, just go light. All right, you don't need to go heavy. It's just a case of getting everything nice and warm, nice and mobile before you start the workout. Okay, obviously then from that, then we're going to start to get your heart rate up a little bit more, make things a little bit more movement specific. All right, so I just want you to grab a light dumbbell. And again, you're just going to work through 2 to 3 sets at kind of 75 to 80% effort. Okay, you're just going to go for 6 dumbbell snatches, 3 on each arm. And then you're going to go for 3 burpee step ups over the box. Okay, so no need to jump just yet. You're just going to do your burpee, step up, step over the box, turn around and go back. All right, again, it's just going to start to gradually warm up those movement patterns and also start to elevate your heart rate. Okay, when you're doing this part, I want you to focus on your dumbbell snatches, on efficiency of your movement. Okay, so make sure that you're comfortable switching hands on the way down as opposed to switching hands on the floor, because that's going to make a big difference to your time. Okay, make sure that you focus on keeping your back from getting too rounded as you come back down from the top of the movement. All right, and then if you've got your judge around, just get them just to watch your reps and make sure there's no issues there in terms of no reps either at the top of your snatches or at the bottom. It's a good chance just to get accustomed to the movement standards and just refresh your mind if you haven't done them for a little while. Okay, from there, then you're going to go for another 2 to 3 sets, but this time you're going to up the ante quite a lot. Okay, so you're going to go up to the workout weight. All right, and again, you're just going to do 2 to 3 sets with a reasonable breather after each one of 6 dumbbell snatches. Okay, this time I want you to go at full workout pace and then 3 burpee box jump overs. Again, full workout pace. Okay, that's going to get your heart rate up, and then give yourself a good 2 to 3 minutes rest before you start the workout. Okay, so that you're ready to go. All right. On the workout itself, obviously you've got the ascending ladder of dumbbell snatches, and then the burpee box jumps just stay the same each time. So we'll talk about dumbbell snatches first. So obviously on the dumbbell snatches, there's a lot of them, all right, obviously 150 reps. So you want to make sure you're moving as efficiently as possible on them, okay? So what that means is making sure at the top, obviously hit the movement stands, but don't spend any more time at the top than you need to. Resting in this position is quite inefficient. You put in your shoulders under fatigue, you can't breathe properly, okay? So try and just hit that top position and then come straight back down to the floor, all right? On the way down, I know obviously as you get tired, it's going to be easy to let your back kind of lose that kind of control, all right? But try and maintain it for as long as possible. Okay, try not to get lazy in terms of hinging at your hip and bending your knees. Okay, if you get midway through the workout and you feel like your lower back's getting really tight, okay, then that'll be a good reminder for you. But you want to make sure on the way down, as you bring the dumbbell down, once you get past hip height, all right, hinge at your hips properly, bend your knees, take the dumbbell down to the floor. It's going to help look after your lower back, but then equally as well, it's going to help you get a bit more power on the way up and not be so reliant on it when it comes to moving the dumbbell, okay? Obviously, the movement itself, when you're going through the workout in terms of breaks, it's kind of going to depend on what kind of capacity you're comfortable with for a movement like this, all right? But obviously a dumbbell snatch is a very cyclical movement, okay? So if you think of, you know, kettlebell swing or wall ball, that kind of thing where you want to be able to just keep chipping away. It doesn't necessarily have to be fast because you're always a little bit limited in terms of movement speed with a movement like this, depending on how tall you are. But it has to be consistent when it's in this kind of volume, okay? So on the 10s and 20s, obviously you want to move, ideally try and get through at least those 2 rounds unbroken and a reasonable pace, but then the goal is to keep that pace consistent into the 30s, 40s and 50s, all right? Even if you do need to break, all right? Obviously in an ideal world, you'd get through all those reps unbroken. And because of the cyclical nature of the movement, obviously your heart rate is going to be elevated, but chances are once it reaches a certain point, it should then level off and stay quite consistent, okay? Then it's going to be the burpee box jumps where your heart rate really spikes, okay? So the more comfortable you can get with your dumbbell snatches and the more you can just maintain that heart rate, it's almost going to become a point where your heart rate just decreases slightly after the burpee box jumps, which just then gives you a bit more push when you do get to that next round of burpee box jumps. And that's easier said than done, all right? But that's the way you kind of want to think of the dumbbell snatches in this workout. They're just something that you need to keep chipping away at as opposed to something that you need to sprint through, okay? Obviously with your breaks, if you do need to break them in the later rounds, okay, then you want to make sure that those breaks are relatively short. Try and keep them, you know, under 10 seconds and always try and get through more than half the set before you break, okay? So if that means, say, on the 30s, you do 20-10, on the 40s, you might try and do 25-15 and so on, all right? That's just going to help you a lot mentally because you're always going to have less to do the second time round when you're a bit more fatigued, okay? And then equally as well, you'll probably find it's the 50s where the fatigue really starts to kick in. I know for me, kind of from 10 up to 40 was pretty straightforward, didn't really feel any difference in terms of fatigue. But the last 20 of the 50s, obviously you've done a lot of reps by that point, then that's where the fatigue really started to creep in. And that's when you really just got to dig your heels in, push through, you know that it's going to be your last set, all right? So that's the dumbbell snatches. With the burpee box jump overs, okay, obviously here, there's a lot of different styles you can use depending on how you're feeling during the workout. For me, I was quite consistent just with one style the whole way. It might be that you feel like you need to adapt it as you go in based on how you're feeling, okay? Obviously, the fastest way to do your burpee box jump over is to do your burpee, jump straight up out your burpee. As soon as your feet land on the floor at the top of your burpee, you jump straight on, over the box, straight back down to the floor, okay? Regardless of which style you use, you want to minimize the time you spend stood on the box. It's very easy as you get tired to jump on the box, take a second, have a breath, drop off the box, turn around and go again. But that can easily make your burpee box jump overs go from taking, you know, 45 to 50 seconds to taking 2 minutes, which when you've got 5 rounds of the workout to do, is going to take off or add a lot of time onto your time. So you want to try and be as disciplined as you can on top of the box, okay? In terms of you controlling your heart rate a little bit more, another way you can go is step up from your burpee, all right? But then again, as soon as you've stepped up, jump straight on and over the box, all right? That's going to be a little bit less fatiguing than if you jump straight up, but it's still going to help you maintain a reasonable pace, all right? Again, as soon as you've jumped off, try and turn around as you drop in, as opposed to kind of drop in, taking a step, and then turning around. Again, that's just going to start to add on more time, okay? If you do get super fatigued through the workout and you need to jump, obviously jump up from your burpee onto the box and have, you know, that split second in between, that's just going to help you catch your breath a little bit, okay? And then again, if you do get super fatigued and you need to step down off the box, then obviously that's an option. Again, it's just going to help you control your breathing a little bit more, but obviously there is going to be a knock-on effect there to your time. Okay, what's worth doing before you start the workout is just play around with the different styles, find one that suits your rhythm and the pace you're looking to go at as you work through it, and get comfortable. If it's a different style, just get comfortable with that technique so that even as you're tired, it just feels consistent. It doesn't take too much brain power as opposed to trying to change your technique midway through the workout when you haven't really tried it before. Okay, obviously there's a few different styles there. Like I say, for me, I was quite consistent with the one style the whole way through. It might be that you can tweak your style as you're going through the workout to adapt to how fatigued you're feeling. So on the 10s, you might go for the fastest possible way, straight up, straight over. After the 10 dumbbell snatches, but then by, say, the middle rounds, it might be that you need to do the first 5 straight up, straight over, the middle 5 step up, straight over, and then the last 5 step up, have a breather, straight over. Okay, and again, that's just going to help you manage your energy. All right, in a workout like this, where it is, you know, reasonable length of time, then it's worth just having that awareness of how you're feeling, of how you might be able to tweak things, so that you can keep moving at a more efficient pace and not have to take long breaks. Okay, long breaks again is what's going to kill you on this workout. You've always got to try and keep moving at something, even if that's tweaking your technique a little bit. Okay, so play around with those before you start. Find what works best for you. Obviously, having said that, in terms of tweaking your technique, the main thing through this one is that mental discipline to keep pushing. You know, inevitably your heart rate's going to get really high. You're going to get quite fatigued. You're going to feel it in your calves, in your glutes, in your hamstrings, and then obviously in your breathing. All right, but you've really just got to keep your head down, push through on this one. All right, and it's going to pay off in terms of your time when you get to the end of the workout. All right, it is a good workout. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. If you've got any questions at all, just give me a shout and let me know how you get on.